This is our news, the weekend edition. And on the broadcast tonight, an international public health agency says the Bahamas is making headway in its fight against COVID-19. Plus, the National Security Minister suggests promotions on the way for members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. And later, Rotary takes on a role in battling COVID-19.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. The Bahamas is showing signs of progress in the fight against COVID-19. That's according to Pan American Health Organization representative to the Bahamas, Dr. Esther de Garville, who says while there has been overall progress, there is still concern for Bimini, where cases continue to spread rapidly. Our Jasmine Brown reports.
These are signs that the situation is not as dire as you're seeing in other parts of the world where people are not testing in sufficient numbers. And when they do test, a large proportion of the tests are coming back positive, as you've seen with the data for New York State, for example, in the US, where I think 50 or 60% of persons who were tested came back with positive results.
The country's first case of COVID-19 was confirmed in mid-March. 2 months later, the number of cases is approaching triple digits, hitting New Providence, Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Cat Key. PAHO produces a daily situation report that de Garville says helps officials get a clear picture of the global outbreak.
The way in which this data is helpful to countries in general, it helps you to realize where the outbreak is not controlled, where the outbreak is coming under control. You can monitor the trends from one day to another.
While Dr. de Garville noted that there has been no extended periods of time without new reported cases, she says there have been fewer new cases on New Providence. But she quickly noted that the same could not be said for Bimini, which has become a hotspot and is being placed on a 2-week lockdown. As it relates to the overall spread of COVID-19, de Garville says based on the data, the spread of the potentially deadly virus appears to be sporadic.
In the Caribbean, we have countries like Trinidad and Tobago having gone 12 days without new cases, St. Kitts 19 days, Suriname 36 days, Dominica 29 days, Belize 25 days. And I hope that over time, the Bahamas will join those countries in bringing the outbreak under control and reporting no new cases.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, there are no new cases of COVID-19 to report tonight. To date, there have been 96 confirmed cases in the country, 74 of those in New Providence, 13 in Bimini, 8 in Grand Bahama, and 1 in Cat Key. The number of active cases stands at 43, with 7 people hospitalized. However, Ministry of Health confirming now 1 new recovery, which now brings the number of recovered cases to 42. There have been 11 COVID-19 related deaths. Meantime, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis will make a national address tomorrow. That address will be carried live right here on our TV, cable channel 212 at 5 p.m. Well, promotions within the ranks of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force are likely to be announced soon. That's according to National Security Minister Marvin Dames, who recently hinted at those promotions. Dames, who did not want to go into much detail, said he is expecting the acting Commodore of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force to make the announcement in the very near future.
Of course, very soon. You know, I would leave that up to the Commodore. That's not my, it's not my job to announce promotion. It's his. I think he's very excited about executing that very soon. And the rank and file, I know, they are as well.
Dames' comments come after 70 Royal Bahamas Police Force officers were promoted last month. He commended members of the armed forces for their hard work during the COVID-19 pandemic.
These men and women work hard, You reach a point where you wish you can promote everybody, but that's not possible. But so we start with their recommendation and their advice as who's the most deserving, and we'll continue to encourage those who are not in the lineup at this time to ensure that they too, at some point, are rewarded.
Secretary General of the United Bus Drivers Union, Corvell Colebrook, said bus drivers are struggling to make ends meet. This as they have been off the road for more than a month. He spoke with our Berthany McDormand.
After emergency measures forced jitney drivers to park their buses more than a month ago, Secretary General of the Bus Drivers Union, Corvell Colebrook, says the union is optimistic that bus drivers will be back on the road by June. The Route 19 bus driver said it's becoming harder and harder to make ends meet, and he has been forced to rely on his savings.
We still have bills to pay and pay attention to your rent, mortgage. We still have light bill, cable bill, and of course food bill, because with the kids being home, they're eating a lot more. And it's now you're feeding them 7 days of the week. And over the 7 days, you're looking at 3 meals a day plus snacks, and you got to entertain them and all that.
Government extended its unemployment assistance program in March to self-employed people outside the tourism industry. The program is facilitated through the National Insurance Board. The husband and father of two admitted that while he is grateful for the help, it doesn't equate to what he would make daily.
The assistance asked is what you got getting from government to what you make daily of the week really is not really balancing off. So now that you have to use the savings to pay off the natural bills, sooner or later you're going to run out.
Despite this, Colebrook said he is in no rush to get back on the road.
When you do checks on other busing systems around the world, you'll find out that many drivers around the world are dying, especially in New York, from the sickness. And the way that we operate, our buses are more close-quartered. So that would not be a good idea for us to be coming on the road anytime soon.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Berthany. We will take our first break here, but still ahead tonight. We hear from one church leader who says the church has been closed for long enough. And later, find out why the Progressive Liberal Party's deputy leader is hitting out at the Prime Minister. Next tonight, another local church leader is voicing his concerns about the closure of churches due to the COVID-19 pandemic and stating that he believes church doors have been closed long enough. Our Georgie O'Bain reports.
Bishop Arthur Evans of Shekinah Family Word Center said he believes it's time for church doors to be reopened. And while he respects the stance of the government, he believes churches have been closed for long enough.
I believe it is. However, there's a lot of stuff that goes along with it. I've known a number of pastors who had congregants who were tested positive for COVID-19, and we do not want a breakout in any one of our churches, and so we err on the side of caution. This doesn't mean that we're faithless. It means that we're going to work along with the government to do what needs to be done, but I believe the time is really, really close, that we're going to have the church's doors open 100% again.
Evans said a reason he believes that church doors should be open is because online services have been challenging, and while some embrace it as the new norm, many persons long for a physical worship experience.
We have been live streaming on Sundays and teaching on Tuesdays, and also reaching our people via Zoom and other platforms. It's been extremely challenging, and the word that we're hearing all the time is the new normal. Well, this is what I believe is going to be the new normal, and I don't think we're going to go back to church the way we knew church was before this.
Evans said despite popular belief, church leaders are also on the front line and have not stopped working just because church doors are temporarily closed.
It is incumbent upon us all to always have a social media presence so that we can be able to reach members that are unable to come and potential members who need a blessing, who need a word from the Lord. So there's always a word from the Lord. Some persons don't regard the church as being frontline, but we're frontline. This today will show you that we are on the ground working. The doors may be temporarily closed, but we're here working.
Reporting for our News Weekend Edition, I'm Georgia Bain.
When our News, the Weekend Edition, comes back from the break, the opposition's deputy leader slams the Prime Minister's call for a broad-based patriotic spirit. So stay with us. Welcome back to our News, the Weekend Edition. Progressive Liberal Party Deputy Leader Chester Cooper is hitting out at the Prime Minister's call for a broad-based patriotic spirit from the official opposition. Addressing the PLP's online COVID-19 briefing this week, Cooper said he communicated the PLP's economic ideas to the government but didn't hear back from them.
The PLP has not been invited to recommend persons to sit at the table for the Economic Recovery Committee, and we have not had updates other than what the Prime Minister gave yesterday. It does seem odd that the Prime Minister calls for bipartisanship cover whenever his decisions are unpopular, but takes all the credit for anything that seems beneficial.
Cooper reiterated that the Prime Minister painted a very bleak picture of the economy, but gave no reassurance as to how the country will emerge from this crisis. He said the PLP's recommendations from 6 weeks ago also remain the same.
Robust and intelligent borrowing to swap out old debt and raise capital for investment in digital and infrastructure upgrades. Food security, job programs, social safety net programs, business investment, and reducing the cost of electricity. We must use this opportunity to position the new Bahamas with significant reforms, new industries, empowering Bahamian entrepreneurs, proper management of our natural resources, and a sovereign wealth fund.
Rotary doing its part to assist in the fight against COVID-19. That's up next. Finally tonight, incoming Rotary President Stephen Dean said the group is hard at work to do its part in the fight against COVID-19 here in the country. The group has already launched its emergency feeding program, which aims to feed 1,500 people.
The reality, Rotary is always in touch with the ground and understand the common man, the person on the ground, the people feeling. So we are always in contact with civil organizations to feel the pulse of what is happening out there. And based on what we've gotten from on the ground, we saw fit to help. So you'll find out that a number of particularly religious leaders we went to, and community leaders, to ask them to give us an assessment of what exists in their community. So they have been helping us tremendously. And I think it is going a long way because we see the need for people out there. And I think when it's stretched into, it's part of the mandate of the church and to go out there and help people.
Dean said the service organization is involved in several other initiatives because they see a dire need for assistance in many areas.
We have different phases. We don't really get into the food distribution. We get into other things and projects. So Rotary are doing a number of projects nationwide. We have water projects in Grand Bahama Water Project in Abaco. We assist with boat building. You see up in McLeanstown, the refurbishment of this boat, Rotary has helped with that. So a number of major projects Rotary is helping with.
Well, that's a look at stories making news this evening, but stay tuned. Our weekend weather forecast is coming right up. And that's going to do it for us on a Saturday night. I'm Andrew Knowles. For all of us here at Our News, thank you for watching. Let's remember to be safe and look out for each other. Have a good night.